Once again, very good morning. Now, to get started with, few requests or few things which I want to specifically highlight is, if you have any questions, this is purely a non-technical session. There won't be anything which I would be explaining related to coding, related to data, related to your scripting. So that all concepts are not there in this session. It's purely non-technical, non-technical in the sense how we can create our LinkedIn profile, how we can reach out to certain recruiter who is hiring for a specific position. It might be a data position, it might be any other technical position. How can you approach that? What all steps we need to follow? So that all concepts we would be discussing. At every step, or maybe I'll take a pause where, as and when required, if I feel that there can be questions asked here. If not, please note down your questions somewhere on a page. Keep a paper and pen aside with you. Note down your questions. We will have a question and answer session at the end. Now, in between, if I kind of get or take some questions, maybe I will break my flow also. So recommended is note down your questions on a paper. Take a paper and pen aside with you. We will have pure question and answer sessions at the end, so that it will also be useful for every other individual to maybe if he or she has that same question or same doubt. So we'll be answering at the end. Um, Probably it's 9:05, assuming that we would start at 9:08, somewhere around 9:08. So it will be mostly 1 hour. I'll not extend or I'll not drag it more than an hour. I'll keep it to 15 minutes, and last 10 to 15 minutes, maybe questions or any queries which you have, and maybe I'll try to answer it. Now, to get started, see, maybe I'll directly not jump to the LinkedIn, how a LinkedIn profile is created, how can you make sure all this is done. Um, Nowadays, there is one word or there is one technology which is booming a lot, which is your artificial intelligence. Nowadays, artificial intelligence, it is not called as only AI, it is called as Gen AI. And it's the hot topic wherever you go. Even if you go, I mean, I'm not sure how many people have already have their LinkedIn accounts, or maybe even if you have your LinkedIn accounts, may not be active, but still, if you go once across a week on this LinkedIn also, mostly everything is related to Gen AI. Now, the biggest question mark with this Gen AI, whether Gen AI is going to replace humans or not. That is the biggest question. Um, See, to answer this question, Gen AI will definitely help us to improve our process. It will not take jobs. It will, I mean, how it will impact is person who knows AI, that person will be highest priority to the person who doesn't know AI. Even though both the individuals have same skill set, same experience, same exposure also, everything remains same, but one of the individual knows Gen AI concepts, the other doesn't know. Yes, there would be an impact there. But apart from this, Gen AI is going to replace humans. It's big no. You There were many introductions in the past as well. Uh, I'll take only one example. Maybe there are many, but if I take an example of 2007 or 8, when there was a big economical crisis, when the Lehman Brothers crash, all that happened. First and foremost thing, what uh, at that time there wasn't any automation. This is with respect to the testing background. For the people who are from testing background who wants to move out to data also, you're at the correct location or you're at the correct place. KSR has many data courses. Now that's a different thing. But whoever was, whoever are a testing related, who are part of this testing related environment, prior to 2007 and 8, automation wasn't there. Now, when all this economic crisis kind of got started, around 2008 or 9, the automation testing came into picture. Prior to that, it was more a kind of manual testing only. Yeah, in manual testing, there were few automations, but not end to end. But when this automation came into picture around 2008 or 9, there was a big question mark on the manual testers, whether that their jobs would be go away, what would be the future of the testers. See, nowadays, people are asking you more about automation testing rather than manual. I'm not saying manual testing is not at all there. Even manual testing is important. There are few use cases where you cannot use automation. It has to I mean, you have to be a manual tester there. You have to go back and manually test some use cases, test cases that has to be there. The thing is, manual to automation transformation was done. Yes, most of the things now are on automated basis. But if you see, starting from 2008 up till date 2024, around 16 years, there isn't any dip in requirement of testers. Not even a single year there. I mean, we found out with this IT industry has found there was a dip in testers. So recommended is do not go or maybe do not think much on this Gen AI. Yes, it is definitely a game changer. It will affect our life, certainly, may not be complete life. If you know Gen AI, you are in this field for a longer duration. So you have to learn all this AI automations, kind of Gen AI things. Now, let's start with a question. How many of you have utilized the chat GPT? There are many artificial intelligence tools. I'm taking only one example. How many of you are utilizing it on daily basis for any work? For any work, how many of you are utilizing this AI on daily basis? Or is it no one?
I'm mostly using
I'm
ChatGPT.
also using ChatGPT.
Okay. So how do you use it? Maybe you have some requirement from the client, or maybe you have requirement from the project. You kind of type that requirement, or is it for non-technical purpose? Maybe create some document.
Not technical purpose, I am learning so far away. So in that any have doubts, I have simply searched in ChatGPT. Some DAX coding, I have any doubt, simply I ask to ChatGPT how to write this code and some SQL codes.
Okay.
Whatever we want to know about drafting, documentation, coding, uh, all we can ask with the ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
Or we can extend our knowledge as well. Like have certain prompts, right? So if
mm.
we text into certain prompts, where we'll be knowing some unknown information which we might not known before. So those
Okay.
things and get to know when using ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
It is user friendly and it is easily understand our language. Whether you type, it's easy understand
Okay.
your query and simply give answers with the explanation. In that Chrome, you have search a lot, but in ChatGPT, simply you type a queries, it will give within seconds.
Okay.
It can provide case studies as well or examples in order to
Okay.
understand the concepts in better way.
Now, if you are asking some question, see how it goes is whatever you ask for that chat GPT, that specific engine, there is a background engine for every artificial intelligence. It has to process some data. So there has to be some engine. Engine means your heart. Just like a human has a heart, it's just an engine. So how you ask a question, depending on that, it will answer. If you ask a question in a different manner, there are many ways to ask a question. Maybe if you are asking a question, some technical question, it will answer that this is what you are looking out for. But if you ask a question which is purely non-technical, even there also it is giving us some information. The, I mean, the concept of asking a question or the way of asking a question is also an art. How do you ask a question? Depending on that, the chat GPT engine will answer. See, first and foremost thing, um, whenever you're asking a question to anything, I'm not saying only chat GPT, you take any, even if you take an example of human, assume that human is an artificial intelligence machine. It's human is the most advanced artificial intelligence machine. You compare any tool in the world, no tool can beat human. No tool can beat human mind. Now, assuming that human is a artificial intelligence machine, if you ask some question to other individual, how are you asking a question? Depending on that, that person will answer. If you ask what is your name, he'll answer that this is my name. But if you ask a question that uh, can you give brief me about yourself, he'll give a complete introduction of him. Now, asking a question is and also an art. How do you ask a question? That same goes with ChatGPT. How you ask a question, that is more important. How you ask a question, that is more important. Depending on that, it will um, maybe a kind of um, way of answering that question also changes. Now, that plays an important role for any how you're asking a question, how that chat GPT, that specific product is answering, that plays an important role. Now, asking a question is also called as prompting a question. How do you ask a question? It is also called as prompting a question. Now, that is way much important. If you prompt something, that means if you're asking a question, depending on your question, it will answer something. So if you prompt a question correctly, it will answer that question correctly. That is how any concept or any tool works in this world, including your human mind. So take one thing into consideration. Prompting is also important. Now, why prompting came into picture? I'm not sure how many of you have heard this word. Let me share my screen so that you'll get a better picture. Gen AI prompt. Prompt means, see, I don't have any presentations available with me. What I feel is writing something in a notepad would be better. So if you ever feel that this person is not that presentations are not there, I'm not fond of any presentations. Just to make sure what is the current world, what is the current trend, I try to write it, I try to type it so that it is easier to get. Presentations, we have to go back and update every time, every day, because world is changing every day. So this prompting means how do you ask a question? This plays an important role. How do you ask a question? I'm not sure how many of you have seen this. There is an opening or there are many requirements from a prompt engineer. What does this prompt engineer do? He only asks questions, but way of asking is important. Prompt engineer, with respect to this chat GPT, with respect to the Gen AI, which is current market boom, hot topic, prompt engineering there are many open positions for a prompt engineering. Now, we will pull up our socks and we might say that we can also ask a question. No, that isn't the case. How are you asking a question is important. Depending on your question, there are business problems which get solved using this Gen AI. Prompt engineering is the highest paying job nowadays. Now, prompt engineering means, it doesn't mean that it is a completely separate field. If you're working as a data analyst, right? If you're working as a data analyst, you can also be a prompt engineer. The question is, if you are working as a data analyst, on which specific data set you're working, on which specific requirement you're working, you have to understand that requirement. Depending on that, you might come across multiple questions. There are n number of questions. It is not with respect to data analysis. If you take data engineer, if you take data scientist, if you take any software engineering role, maybe Java, .NET, maybe your front end roles, any technical roles, even non-tech roles. I'm not saying only technical. If you're working in any specific role, you get certain requirement from an end user or a client. You first understand that. Human brain is the most flexible part. It will understand everything without any artificial intelligence because human brain itself is artificial intelligence. Now, if you understand something, you have many questions. Depending on that questions, how you prompt that question to the Gen AI, any Gen AI tool, the Gemini AI, the Chat GPT, there are many tools. I'm taking only few examples. How you prompt a question, and depending on your question, how is it answering, that is important. Prompt engineering doesn't mean it is a separate field. No, it isn't a separate field. You can be part of any field, but how are you understanding and how are you prompting a question, that plays an important role. So that is where the importance of current market is. If you prompt your question precisely and that chat GPT is answering that question, depending on that, your work would be reduced. If you are spending, this is just an example, you are a data analyst, you have got a requirement from a client, without any chat GPT, without any Gen AI, it used to take 10 days to completely analyze and give some, some output, some specific output to that end user earlier. This was earlier case. Because you have to think a lot. Human brain, many things are going simultaneously. You have to think about your family, you have to think about your day-to-day life, you have to think about your future, you have to think about your job. Everything is going background. Not, you cannot only think about job, you cannot only think about your family, you have to have everything. That's how the human brain complex is. So earlier it used to take 10 days. I'm not saying human brain is taking more time because you are clustered with multiple things. Whereas if you use this Gen AI, if you promptly ask a question in whatever time you're working, maybe you're spending 9 hours a day, 9 hours a day for your technical work. May not be 9 hours, but less than 9 hours, maximum is 9 hours. If you spend a complete 9 hours or complete focus 9 hours on your job, and you're correctly getting the requirement, analyzing that requirement, and depending on that, you have multiple questions. You note down that questions. Now, noting down means you have to ask a question to the Gen AI. You need to ask a question to the Gen AI. Now, how are you asking a question? That plays an important role. That means you're prompting, asking, yeah, prompt question. This plays an important role. If you ask a question to this Gen AI, maybe earlier when our human brain used to think and it used to take 10 days, if you rather ask a question to Gen AI, it can take up to 2 days to complete your work. Right? So here, have you ever felt that individual presence is gone away? Because person, anyways, that data analyst is the one who is asking a question. Client will never directly go and ask a question to Gen AI because he doesn't know anything about any technical tools. Client knows about business. We know about technical tools. We also understand the business and we give some solutions. So there is no role of, I'm not saying there is directly Gen AI who is answering the question. It is how you ask a question. Depending on that, Gen AI will answer that question. Here it will be a bit confusing for you people. There is no human removal, or maybe there is no, if you remove the human presence here, there is no data analyst, there is no human presence, chat GPT or Gen AI, it will, I mean, the prompting will not be that great. The answers which Gen AI would give, it would be normal human answers. So important thing is there is no, you could say human presence is must. Okay, earlier it used to take 10 days, now it is only taking 2 days, just because you're prompting the exact requirement to that Gen AI. Depending on that, it will answer that question. So why am I taking 20 minutes of today's time to explain this is, see, do not get worried about this Gen AI introduction. You will find many things in YouTube, you will find many things in LinkedIn also, that people are forcing you, this will replace you, this will replace you. No, it will not replace. I'm not saying it will not replace anything. It will only replace what amount of work we are doing. Earlier, it used to take some lot of time. Maybe our work would be reduced to 60-70%, which is very drastic decrease. 60-70% means it's already a profit for end user because he has to wait 10 days. Now he's only waiting 2 days. Even for us, we are not thinking much. Our brain is thinking on requirement, but for continuous 10 days, we are not thinking. Only 2 days we are thinking and we are asking correct question to that Gen AI. So that's how it will impact our life. It will not take our jobs. Keep one thing in mind. Person who is using AI, yes, that person would be first preferred, not the person with same skill set but who isn't using AI. AI, Gen AI, prompt engineering, how is it prompting? That all comes into picture. So keep one thing, and Gen AI is everywhere. The latest example. How many of you have updated WhatsApps? Current update, latest update. There is a new introduction in WhatsApp. They have
Yes.
added an AI there. I'm
Meta
not sure.
AI.
Yep. So wherever you go, AI is there. Do you think with the introduction of this AI in WhatsApp, people will not type anything, people will not chat anything? No, that isn't the case. There is some introduction of AI means that it will simplify our life. That's it. It is not taking any jobs. If you are an end-to-end manual person, make sure you're upgrading yourself with this AI. That's it. Now coming back to the core point, our LinkedIn. Let me take a new page. What is LinkedIn? It is almost equal to Facebook, but there are few restrictions. Restrictions in the sense there aren't any restrictions, but we follow that restrictions or rules. See, if you want to get a good job, if you want to enter this field of any technical field, even non-technical field, nowadays non-technical people are also having their LinkedIn accounts. LinkedIn is reaching out to any society or any job role. HR, your pure technical roles, your customer support roles, your tech support roles, your banking or finance related roles, your backend offices, everywhere, every individual is using a LinkedIn. Earlier, it used to restrict to the certain set of people only. Now it is not that case. Everyone, every industry is using a LinkedIn. I've seen, I'm not sure. Even Indian PM is using a LinkedIn. He also posts something on LinkedIn. There are many ministers in the government of India who is using a LinkedIn. That means the government people are also using LinkedIn nowadays. So recommended is everyone should have a LinkedIn nowadays. And it is the one of the best job searching tool also for people in India. I'm not sure. I'm not much specific about people joining from outside of India. What all portals are there, job searching portals are there? Maybe I'll take few examples. People in India assume that Naukri is the best. Yes, it is best, but LinkedIn is the greatest than Naukri. If you compare LinkedIn with Naukri, LinkedIn is way much greater than Naukri. Naukri is best. I'm not saying Naukri is bad, but LinkedIn is way much greater than Naukri. Naukri is a job searching portal for the people who are outside of India. It's a job searching portal in India. Now, for the people who are outside of India, might be Indeed. Uh, there are many. There is Glassdoor as well. Usually, Glassdoor is used for reviews, but yes, sometimes Glassdoor will also help you to get a job. There's some Fishball, many other tools, many other applications which are used for job searching, but LinkedIn is the best. Now, recommended is everyone should have a LinkedIn account. It's almost equal to Facebook, but there are few rules and restrictions. Now, what all that rules and restrictions are, we'll have a look. We'll start one after the point. We'll cover each and everything. Now, getting started with, there are rules and regulations. First rule, in Facebook, you can open 10 accounts with same name, same profile pic. If you are unable to open the previous account, open 10 multiple Facebook accounts. There isn't any problem. Out of 6 billion people who live in this world, 7 billion people who live in this world, there are around 13 to 14 billion Facebook accounts. Twice the number of size, and not everyone is using the Facebook. Okay, around 60-70% of people nowadays have got a presence of internet in their specific regions and they're using Facebook, accepted, but still there are twice the number or maybe 2.5 times the number of Facebook accounts than the total population. So Restriction is if you have Facebook, you can open 10 accounts. There isn't any problem. With same profile pic, same name, you can send multiple Facebook friend requests with multiple accounts. But in case of LinkedIn, I'm using a comparison. In case of LinkedIn, if in previously you might have opened a LinkedIn account with some email ID, use that same LinkedIn account. Do not open, do not duplicate any LinkedIn accounts. It is not recommended to duplicate because it is not like Facebook. It works like a Facebook. It is not purely Facebook. In LinkedIn, we are not sending connection requests to share photos, to share job related openings, to share our technical aspects. Yes, that can be used. So do not duplicate LinkedIn account. Now question comes, if I don't want to duplicate, can I reactivate that previous account? Always. If you ever have activated LinkedIn previously, maybe minus 5 years back, minus 4 years back, or minus 5 days back also, reactivate that account. There is an option, reactivate the older account. Others. There is an option to upgrade your email. If you're not using that previous email or the email which you have mentioned while creating account previously, if you're not utilizing that email, see, first thing, while creating an account, it is always recommended to use your personal emails. Do not use official emails, right? Do not use official emails. It is not recommended. Official emails are not recommended. So yeah, official emails are verified once your account is created. Maybe you're working for a certain organization. You have to mention that organization email ID with your experience. It will verify, it will send a code. That means you are a valid employee of that company. That is different part. But while creating this account, use your personal emails. Official emails is only for verification. Nothing more than this. This is only for verification. Use personal emails for LinkedIn account activation. Your Gmail, your Yahoo, or any specific domain. Now, once that is done, see with this older account, you might have activated with the emails which you're not using. Still open that older account. Maybe there are multiple ways to log in. Maybe your mobile number, maybe your previous email IDs. Try to log in that older account. For the people who is new to this LinkedIn, who have never touched this LinkedIn, you can always open a new account. Make sure you are using your personal email, and that personal email you are checking on daily basis. There are people who open a LinkedIn with the email accounts, which they never touch, maybe once in a year also, or maybe once in a week also, which is not recommended. You should always check your personal emails on daily basis. That same email which you're checking on daily basis, use it in your LinkedIn. While creating a LinkedIn, or maybe while reactivating the older account also, you have an option to upgrade. Upgrade in the sense, you can update your older account, log into that account, and update your email ID with the current email ID which you're using it on daily basis, which you're checking on daily basis. Do not duplicate LinkedIn accounts like Facebook. This is not recommended. It will have a negative impact. Maybe person who is trying to search you on LinkedIn, he might feel that there are two accounts in your name. One of them is fake, or one of them might be both of them are fake. That happens, which is not recommended. So it is always recommended to only have one LinkedIn account active at a time. If you want to change your email ID, you will always have an option in future also. If you're opening the LinkedIn account for the very first time, that is also fine. And if you want to update your email in the future, you have that option, you can update. So do not duplicate the accounts. Do not create any duplicate accounts. Now, we are good with this. How do you activate? See, the very first step, go to LinkedIn. Once you go to LinkedIn, click on sign in, sign up, not sign in, sign up. New to this LinkedIn, it will ask you an email ID. It will ask you password. First step, email ID and password. I've done with that step. That is the reason I'm in the second step. And probably this explanation is not required because um, uh, maybe out of 60 people, how many of you are, uh, or maybe your age is less than 30, less than 30 or 32, not even 30, 30, 32. How many of you people's age is less than 32? Or maybe I'll ask a other way. How many of your people's age is greater than 32? It seems you guys are very getting bored. It's Saturday morning. Why this person has came up is giving some explanation. Okay. See, the one who is around 30, 35 also, even 30, 32, 35, you also know, or maybe it is not required for you people to show you how to activate any specific social networking site. LinkedIn is also social networking site. It's, as I've said, it's equal to Facebook only, but there are rules and restrictions. So steps to activate LinkedIn. First step is sign up. Once you sign up, it will ask you to enter email, whatever email you want, your personal email. Here you have to mention your personal email, and it will ask you for password. Once that is done, second step, it will ask you to mention the name of a person, and last name of a person. See, here also it plays an important role. For the people who are from south of India, there are many people I've seen who don't use their complete surname. First name is okay. You mention your complete first name, that should be, and it is must. Do not mention some different names. Do not mention some random names in your first name. Do not add some aliases. Mention your original first name. Original first name, right? And I've seen people from south of India, may not be only south. Let's not restrict to certain region only. There are people in India who use initials of their um, surnames. For me, it's K. I would not use every time K. If you only use initial also, that is also fine. I'm not saying it is wrong anyways, but it is also fine. If you can use your last name initial, that should be okay. If you ever feel that you want to mention your surname completely, and you are in a situation that 50% I'm okay, can I mention 50% I'm not okay? See, go with the 50%, mention your complete end-to-end last name, your complete surname. I would recommend with that. Okay, if you're not interested, maybe your documents, wherever you go, you only mention initials. You are free to mention your initial. That's okay. That's all fine. Now, the third step is this step, from where you belong to. Sorry, from where you belong to. Welcome. Our name will come, whatever name I've mentioned. What's your location? So all these steps will come. This is third step. My bad. This is third step. Mention your location. Now, the question is what to mention in this location. There are two aspects. Your hometown is some other city. You are part of some other city, maybe in hometown, and you're working in some another city. See, here in location, you should always mention your workplace area name. Example, you are from a ABC hometown. Any name. I'm not taking any names. ABC hometown. It is from Maharashtra in India. Take any state. Just an example. This is your hometown, but your working or workplace rather is Pune. Always go with this option. Do not mention your hometown name. I have seen people who mention their hometown names. Even if you stay in your hometown, but your company is placed in Pune, yes, it is always recommended to go with the, if you're working from hometown, your hometown doesn't have any companies. Okay, there are situations that people work from Hyderabad. Hyderabad, yes, they have an hometown. Now people are living in multiple metro cities only, and their office is in Pune. You can mention Hyderabad. That should be fine because Hyderabad has multiple IT companies. You are from a metro city. That should be fine. But if you're working from a small town, tier two cities, which is not recommended, you shouldn't mention that. If your company is in metro cities, or maybe you're working from some other metro city, you can mention the other metro city which you are working out from. As I've said, one more example I've said, Hyderabad, you are staying in the city and you're working for an organization which is in Pune. You can mention Pune also. That ideally you should mention Pune. But if you mention Hyderabad, that should be fine because Hyderabad also has multiple companies. That shouldn't be any problem. So two examples I've given. If at all it's a tier two hometown city, go with your workplace city. If you're staying in metro and you're working for an organization which is present in a different metro, you can mention where you are staying, that metro city name. Even that is fine. There isn't any problem. Now let's see what all we option. I mean, what all options we get. Your profile helps you discover new people and opportunities. Most recent job title. See, it is compulsion. Fourth step is your job title. And this is your recent job title. That means you are working for an organization. Current job title. Now, here also there are multiple questions. Examples I'll take may not be matching with the exact job titles which you are looking out for, but random examples I take. See, there is a role called as senior software engineer. There are companies which have the senior software engineer role. Software engineer in technical terms, what does it mean? Software engineer means a person who knows backend, who knows Java, who knows .NET, who knows some front-end related technical aspects. That person is called a software engineer. But a person who is working like a data analyst, you cannot call that person as a software engineer. You should always call that person as a data analyst or a data engineer, not a software engineer. So there are some restrictions, or maybe these are not restrictions. These are some random rules or common rules which we follow in current market. So if you have got a job, or if you have got a role of senior software engineer in a company and you're working as a data analyst, this is mere an example. You can compare it with your role, your aspiring role and your company role also. And that person is working like a data engineer or a data analyst, any role, anything related to data. So what should you mention? Senior software engineer or a data analyst? See, if you mention this also, there isn't any problem. But if you're working like data analyst or data engineer, you can mention this is your role in company. You can also mention this as well. Even you can mention data engineer or data analyst. Even this is correct. Or else you want to go with the exact role which the company has have given, you can mention this as well. Both not together, either of them. You can mention either this, you can mention either this. There isn't any problem. Right? Now I'll go back. I'll mention my role. See, there are recommendations. I'll mention data engineer. If at all it's an analyst, you can mention analyst. There isn't any problem. Now, in data analysts also, there are multiple roles. Data analyst, senior data analyst, business data analyst, data research analyst. Now, it is up to us what kind of role is best suitable for us. I'm only working like a data analyst. I know insights related to Power BI, and I also know insights related to Azure. Maybe depending on your experience, your role might have, or maybe you have got a senior data analyst role, mention whatever role, senior or normal role. See, do not mention senior every time. If you have a good exposure of more than 8 years, go with senior. Anything less than 8 years would be always considered like a intermediate experience, 4 to 8 years or 5 to 8 years. And less than 5 or less than 4 years is your normal data analyst role. So once this is done, most recent job title is done, employment type. See, this is also compulsion, employment type, because this will play an important role in your LinkedIn profile. If you're not mentioning the correct employment type, whether it's a part-time, full-time, self-employed, freelancing, you have to select the current employment. What is your current employment? If at all it's a full-time, mention it as full-time. Done. Now, it is asking you most recent company, and this is compulsion. Now, for which company you're working, you can mention that. And for a few who doesn't know me, just a moment. And for few who doesn't know me, I work as a data analyst for Microsoft. No, I'm not sure why it join now. Bear with me for 1 minute. There is just a moment. I'll reshare it. Uh, 1 more minute I need because there is this some account which is get stuck here. Can't access this email. Why is it so? Let me share my screen. Probably there is something which is missing. My bad. It's opened again. Let me share my screen. See, at the first step, you will get this, the very next step, when you mentioned your email ID, your company, at the last step, you'll get a email to verify. You'll get an email to verify. I might have used a company email, the KSR's email. This is not recommended. For my purpose, I'm using it. For my understanding purpose, I'm using it. See, do not use this. Do not use this email. Use your personal emails. Now, if you're good with this, it will send a notification, OTP. Let me check what is the OTP and let me enter it. Now, bear with me here for 2 minutes because this is where the most of the stuff or most of the OTPs are not correctly shared. Now, once your process is done, so this is how it will look like. The very next step, your OTP verification is done. The very next step. Now, which of this option is best suitable for you? I'm actively looking for a job, not really, but would consider. Maybe I'll go with the second option. What kind of job you would consider? Now, the questions are increasing. Let me go back. I'm open to remote jobs. What was this question? Let me go back. Can I go back? My bad. Again, it got logged off. I'll re-log in it. Just a moment. And this issues you will face every time. This is not with respect to me only. While LinkedIn account creation, this is not an issue, probably. This is not that big issue, but it happens. is missing. Anyways, I'll share my screen. Probably this is not going to happen now. Now, fifth component is how do you mention? See, once your LinkedIn is active, how do you mention your uh, LinkedIn profile to look alike? See, you have activated fourth step, job title. It will open the LinkedIn. Fifth step is it will open the LinkedIn. It will ask you some recommendations, whether what role you're looking out for, actively looking. You have to select either of them. It will open the LinkedIn. Now, in LinkedIn, there are multiple things which we need to consider. Um, how our account should look alike, how can we make sure it is correctly working, our account is correctly working. First thing is your profile pic. First thing is your profile pic. How it should, the profile pic should look alike. Second thing is your highlight. Your highlight. Highlight means profile highlights. This is specifically profile highlights. I'll give you an idea. Let me go back. See, there are multiple ways you can add your profile pic in LinkedIn. I'll give you a basic idea how it should look alike. See, for profile pic, it is always recommended it should look a professional. Now, professional in the sense, professional photo. Professional in the sense, it doesn't mean you should always wear a blazer or a suit, right? Even this is not recommended. Blazer or a suit, not every time. If you have a pic of you with your blazer and suit, well and good. If not, a normal t-shirt is also okay. And this plays an important role. See, why am I explaining at this level is I have seen people who had any Facebook photos to this or any social networking photos, your WhatsApp profile pic to this LinkedIn. That is not recommended. You should always have a professional photo. If you doesn't have this blazer or a suit photo, normal t-shirt with collar. Round neck t-shirts, no, it is not recommended. A collar t-shirt is recommended. Normal t-shirt collar with collar. If you have a photo of that also, it is okay. See, I'll take some examples here. This is professional. This photo is professional. Even this is professional. See, you can see he hasn't weared any blazer or something, but he's wearing some t-shirt inside, which is round neck, above which he's wearing a shirt with a collared maybe a collared apparel. So recommended is always you should have a collared apparel, round neck shirts, round neck t-shirts, profile pics. Try to neglect this. Even this looks fine. There is this round neck. Even this looks fine, but I would always recommend round neck t-shirts. Keep it aside. Use a collared information or collared profile pic. Now I'll show you a few pics which is not recommended. See, how are you looking? How are you looking? That plays an important role. This is the best example. See, there are 5 different photos. If you are adding this last photo, he is not directly viewing. His angle of viewing something is around 60 degrees. Somewhere around 60 degrees, not even 30. If you see this first pic also is not straightly looking. So add a pic. Maybe this pic is okay. Third one. This is not that tilted. Because if you see the angle is not that tilted. This photo is okay, third photo is okay, third photo is okay, fourth is okay, and second is also okay. First and last, do not use this pics. It should be, I mean, you should always look straight. Okay, there is a change of looking angle of around 30 degrees also. It's okay. not more than 30 degrees. So profile pic with a normal t-shirt collar, okay, that is recommended. Yep.
Yeah, we are not able to see your screen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it same for everyone?
No, it's visible.
No,
It's
no,
visible.
it's visible.
No, it's
No, it's
visible.
visible.
Ma'am, could you go back and reconnect or maybe disconnect and reconnect?
Yeah, sure thing.
Now, degree of angle should be straight, which is 90 degrees. That means it should be straight towards 90 degrees. Or else 30 degrees. It should not be 60. It should not be 180, something like that, which is not recommended. 80 degrees, 30, 90 degrees and 30 degrees. This is the best example of profile pic. So I've given one example. This example, first and last photos are not recommended. Second, third, fourth, okay, which looks fine. And this is common for any, I'm not saying this person has wore a blazer, is wearing a suit or something. No, that is not the case. Even if you wear a blazer and suit, and if you're not looking straight, that profile pics are not recommended. And there are multiple examples. I'll show you. This is one example. This is just an example. Let me see if there are a few other examples as well. See anything different? All looks professional. Anyways, everything looks professional, it seems, because this was the correct example where all the photos were added. Where was it? So, now even if you look this also, this also giving you different angle of viewing. First is okay. Even second is okay because it's not that tilted. This one is not okay. See, the third pick. I'm looking about the third pick. Fourth is also okay, kind of. Even fifth is okay. Third, why? Because his face is slightly tilted here and is not even looking that angle. It is looking some other way. So way or angle at which you are looking also, that plays an important role. If you are randomly uploading any normal pic, your Facebook pic, your social networking pics, which is not recommended. So always use a professional photo. Now coming down to highlights, what do you mean by highlight? How highlight looks? See, everything I'll show with an example. I'm not able to open that temporary LinkedIn which I have. This highlight. This one. This one. Let this open. There's it. Highlight is, see, while creating the account, you have mentioned your name will come here. Whatever name you have mentioned. This is your verification code. Now, how this verification code is there, how this verification concept comes into picture. While creating your account, you have mentioned your personal email IDs. But for which company you are working, for a specific company you are working, right? You are working for a certain company. So if you're working for that certain company, that company name will come here. This is the company name. And it will ask you to verify. Somewhere here, you will get verify your company name. You will get an option here. May not be the day one. Maybe while you're using it on daily basis, after 1 week also, you will get a notification. Verify your company, verify your job. So once you click on it, this tag is not default available. This tick mark or checkbox tag, this is not default available, the gray color tag. You are working for a certain company, you mention that company after 6 or 7 days of your activation, it will ask you to verify. Once you verify, how do you verify? You need to verify with your company email. You need to verify with your company email. Whichever company you have mentioned, that domain email you have to mention. Maybe if I'm working for Microsoft, I have to mention @microsoft.com email ID. If I mention that, It will send a OTP. This is not, someone will also have a question that I'm verifying my company name, I'll get a OTP, whether this will be a security breach. No, this is not a security breach. No organization will ever question you. Why have you added this personal, or why have you added this professional email to your LinkedIn account for verification? It's a straightforward answer. It is only for verification that I am a valid employee of this company. So this check mark will come once you verify your email ID, your official email ID. Now that is done. If it's good, highlights. How should you mention your highlights? See, I'll only talk about data analysis more. If you are from non-tech background also, it is up to you how do you mention. But I'll take an example of data analyst. You're working as a data analyst who knows SQL and Power BI and few Azure concepts. Now you should always mention highlights means this component. Senior financial analyst at Johnson & Johnson. This will automatically come with the role which you have mentioned. Below this, there is an edit option. You will get an edit option here. You want to edit something, you will get an edit option here in the LinkedIn. Once you click on that edit option, it will ask you highlights, profile highlights. In that profile highlights, you should mention this highlight, that data analyst. You can mention this way at Microsoft. And you can mention few important skills, not every skill. Power BI. See, while mentioning Power BI also, you should never mention like this. Power, there is a space in between BI. Good. SQL, as a data analyst, SQL is must, so SQL will come first. SQL, Power BI. Now you can mention ETL, some ETL you know. See, I'm using bars here, standing lines or bars here. After SQL, Power BI and ETL, you can mention Azure Cloud. This is for a data analyst. If you want to make sure your profile should look like a data engineer, you will always have a flexibility data engineer at whatever company name. I'll mention it as company name, right? Here also SQL is must. For a data engineer, Power BI is not that compulsion. You can mention Python because Python is an important programming language you should know as a data engineer. For a data analyst, if you know, it's an added advantage. If you don't know, it's up to us. Maybe there is not that compulsion. So SQL, Python. Now the concepts of Azure should be clearly mentioned. Synapse, maybe your Databricks. So whichever key tools you know, you can mention that. This is how your profile highlights or summary should look alike. Now, once that is done, here the second component is about. Here also you will get an edit option. Something like pencil-like icon you'll get, edit option you will get. Now, what should be mentioned in about? Again, eighth component is about. What should be mentioned in this about? See, mentioning in about, you should only mention around. Now, it is the number of experience which you are mentioning in your LinkedIn. Depending on that, the about summary will also vary. Number of points will vary. Now, if your experience is 1 year, 0 to 1 year, or you're working as a fresher, or maybe you are entering this field, you want to enter this field as a fresher, recommended points is 4 points. Now I'll explain the points also, what points we need to mention. If your experience is somewhere 1 plus to 4 years, right? Now here you can mention 6 points or maybe 6 to 7 points. Maximum is 6. I'll not go with 7 also. 6 points of summary, about your technical skills, what you have worked on, what your expertise is. So you can mention in 6 different points. And if your experience is 4 plus years, up to 9 years or less than 10 years, less than 10 years. Less than 10 years, 8 points. Plus 2 points I've added. And if your experience is 10 plus years, plus 2, 12 points, more than enough. I've seen people who are adding about summary of 15, 16 points or more than that. which is not recommended. About summary should be short and sweet, very precise what you're working on. Now, what all points you can add? See, for a data analyst, I'll mention few points so that you can analyze, so that you can understand how can you mention it, right? Now, if you're working as a data analyst, let's take this example only what she has mentioned. Identifying myself as the first generation immigrant in United States. Okay, this is from US and she is a migrant. So she might have moved from one country to a different country. Okay. Now for a data analyst, whatever, even for a fresher role, um, a data analyst with good understanding about. See, you should start with like this: a data analyst or a data engineer with good understanding. Now, good understanding should be for freshers. This line should be for freshers. Freshers or maybe 1 year experience, around one and a half, even for 2 years. Now, if you have a good exposure to that field, for a person with around 4 years or 4 to 10 years, how can you mention it? A data analyst with good exposure to technical skills, like this is for intermediate roles. Intermediate experience. Up to 8 years experience, you can mention this. That won't be a problem. Any role. See, I'm taking example of data analyst. You can take data engineer, you can take any software engineer. It is up to you. I'm only explaining with respect to data analyst. You can take any role. Now, once that is done, for the people who have a very good exposure or very expertise in this field, or maybe who have a 10+ years of experience, a senior data analyst with solid technical experience in this line should be first component. Now, coming down to the second line, whatever skills you have, you can mention that skill. Starting with SQL. In SQL also, you specifically know SQL Server, mention that SQL Server. You know Oracle or PL SQL, mention that PL SQL. Now, once that is done, you know as maybe you know ETL, mention ETL. And in ETL, what you know? Any specific tools related to ETL. See, I'm just taking an example. Not every tool should be mentioned. Whatever tools you know, Informatica you know, ADF you know, Talent you know, Snowflake you know, whatever tools you know in ETL or any specific skill, first comes the skill and then the tools required in that skill you can mention. Now, once that is done, you know any cloud technology, Azure. In Azure, what do you know? You know Synapse, you know Databricks. You can mention the skills. In a data analyst with good understanding about SQL, Oracle. Now, you also know some reporting tools like Power BI. Maybe Power BI, maybe Tableau, maybe ClickView, any tools. Mention that tools. First thing is your domain and then the tools used in that domain. SQL is it's a common, database. Under SQL, what all SQL structures you know? What all languages you know? SQL Server, Oracle, might be your MySQL. You can mention this way. Now, once this is done, this is point 2. Coming down to point 3, let's go back to the same point, what she has mentioned. Now, as I've said, 12 point means around 2 points or 3 points are already done, because we have started with 3-liner exposure. For 1 year of experience, you all additionally need one more line. Have good what you can say for fresher, have worked on multiple. So if you have worked on internship, you can mention that internship also. I've worked on multiple internship projects if not internship, have worked on multiple projects related to, now you are a data analyst related to analysis, reporting, cleaning data, and cleaning data should come second, because after analysis of data, cleaning comes into picture. Cleaning data, then reporting. After reporting and
Shabash Poli, Shabash Poli.
reporting, cleaning data, what can we mention? At the last call, what? You have some recommendation?
Published
Analysis.
reports to team. Publishing reports to
Sharing insights. Sharing
what?
insights.
Very good.
Sharing
Sharing
insights.
insights. And sharing insights to end user. End user can be anything. End user can be any person. Now, once this is done, see, this more specifically should be in highlights. Now, for people with 10 years of experience, maybe I don't need to explain what all points you need to expose here. All your high level points, your last 10 years of experience, maybe you have worked in so and so domain. So you can mention all that points in your about summary. Maximum is 12 points. I'm not saying every time you should have a 12 points. Even 8 or 9 points for 10 plus years also, that is also okay. Your summary should be readable. It shouldn't look like a complete paragraph. It shouldn't look like an essay. If you take a look at this profile also, she has kept it sweet and short. It shouldn't look like an essay. I've seen people who are adding end to end everything, which is not required. If you add everything about in this about section about yourself, it will have a very good impact on the recruiter. But if you doesn't know few of the technical skills, it will be a negative impact. So make sure you are only mentioning the skills which you have expertise, and it should be short and sweet. I've mentioned the number of points. You should, how do you start? How do you mention these points? More than enough. Now, once this is done, this is our 8th point. 9th point is your previous experience. Anyways, at the time of creation, it will ask you current role. That current role will come. Roles and experience. That roles and experience will come. Now, current role is already added at the first step. First step while account creation only. Here you need to add your previous experience. Right? Now, previous experience for the people who are moving out from non-tech to tech role, you should mention each and every previous experience. Each and every previous experience. Do not skip anything. Even if you have worked, maybe there are people who have worked for a company for 20 days and they have absconded. Something, if you come across like situations, you can skip that. But if you have worked for a company for even for a month and you have legally gone out of that company with your serving notice period of 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, whatever notice period you have served, even if you have worked for 1 month also, mention that company in your previous experience. Mention every company which you have worked out for. If you have absconded and you don't want to show that, you have absconded after 3 or 4 months, but your PF account is created for the people in India. I'm not talking about any outside roles out of India, but for India, you have worked for a company, there is a PF account created for that company. Do not skip that company. Mention whatever role you have worked in. Now, if you want to showcase every experience as a legal, maybe technical experience also, you can showcase that. Even if you're working as a non-tech guy there, you can mention your technical non-tech experience into technical experience in your previous experience. Mention all the experiences, because this will play or this will have a huge impact. Because if a HR is coming and checking your profile, he'll always verify what resume you have sent and what uh, experiences you have mentioned in your LinkedIn profile. And for every interview schedule, HR will always check your LinkedIn profile, or else vice versa also. You will go back and check the HR's profile. You will go back and check the person who is taking your interview. Maybe your interview is assigned tomorrow, assuming that there is an interview tomorrow. If you will always go back and check, you an invite is sent one day prior only. So you'll always go back and say, who is my interviewer? What is his expertise? Depending on that, you can assume that this might be the questions that person would be asking. So it is always recommended mention all your previous experiences. Now, how do you mention? It should be precise and clear. Date, from date to end date. Let me go back and take an example. If you take a look, see, he has mentioned the company name clearly. Experiences, he has mentioned the company name. And see, every time you'll get this edit option. You have this edit option here, this edit option. This pencil-like icon is your edit option. Now, company name, this is the first company. This will automatically come. From which date you have started working. If you're current employee, it will come it as present. Previous company, see, in previous company also you have worked in two different roles, mention two different roles. If you have worked in only one role, okay. See, one thing important is if you have worked in two different roles, here it is taking start date, end date for that role, start date, end date for that role. Your start date, end date should be matching. Matching in the sense, see, this person started in July 2019. He left this marketing manager role in July 20, and that same month he has started. Okay, it should be same month or else very next month. It should be August. It can be August also. You can take August as well. If you are working in a same company and you have changed the roles, there shouldn't be gap. Okay, if you have moved out from Facebook or this company, just an example, you moved out from this company in the month of in July 2019, he have joined. You have moved out from this Facebook, or this person has moved out from the Facebook in February 2019. There is a gap, right? March, April, May, June. There is a gap of 4 months. Now, that that won't be any problem. If there is a gap, that won't be any problem. But you have left an organization, you are leaving Facebook in the month of June, there is no gap. You are directly joining this WeWork in July 2019. That should also be fine. But I've seen people who mention, I have left Facebook or I have left the previous organization in month of August, and they'll overlap their work. July 2019, you have joined this WeWork and you're leaving Facebook in August. That doesn't rectify. So you should always precisely mention your start date and end date. There is an option to add a career break also. If you have taken a career break of more than 6 months, 6 or 6 months plus 6 months, always add a break of 6 months. Mention whatever issue you have. If you do not mention also, that should be fine. You can add a career break. In order to add more positions, this option will be enabled. Add positions. Go on adding how many positions, how many companies you have worked for in LinkedIn. Now, once you mention the dates precisely, there is how to mention what you have worked for that organization. Roles and experience. In experience, what should be mentioned? Two-liner description should be mentioned. Whichever company you are part of, two-liner description should be precisely mentioned. After two-liner description, maybe assuming that I am working for Microsoft, right? Now, what I'll mention, I work for a CGA team. There is a team called as Customer Growth Analytics. It will analyze what is the customer growth. Customer Growth Analytics team. So how can you mention my experience is Microsoft? Maybe I've started in April 23, and this is my current role till date. So this is my current role. This is how it will look. And customer growth analytics. So how can you mention part of CGA customer growth analytics team working as data engineer, have expertise in whatever tools you have mentioned. You can still mention that tools, or else you can mention this way. Works with part of customer growth analytics team working as a data engineer for analysis. See, do not mention all your company's roles and responsibilities very end to end, which is not recommended because it can be a data breach also. Sometimes company will never ask you to mention each and everything. So only mention few highlights which are important. Customer growth analytics team working as a data engineer for analysis of uh, customers penetration, usage, and number of new entrants to every service in Azure cloud. This is my primary role. This is how you should mention 1, 2, or maximum 3-liner description. And once you mention this description, after this description, there is some white space. You will get some white space, or you will get a box. Take a 1-liner white space completely. Go to the next line. Mention tools. There is an option called as tools. Tools used. Or else there is one more option. You will get an option called as skill set. Skills used. Either of them you can use. Tools used, you have to mention in the bracket itself, or else you'll get an option called as skills used. Mention whatever skills you have used in this. I'm using SQL, I'm using Power BI, I'm using ADF, I'm using Synapse, I'm using ADLS, and last should be after and. I'm using PySpark. You can mention all this. This is how your experience should look alike. And this is for only one experience I'm taking. This should be same for all the previous experience. 3-liner description. You can mention whatever tools you have used in that description, or else there is an option skills used, skills worked on. You can mention that skills also. This option is separately available. If this option is not available, manually write tools used, and whatever tools you have mentioned, mention that tools. Right? This is how your experience should be completely written. Now, coming down to the 10th part is your education. Education should also be clearly mentioned. In education, if you have postgraduate degree, right? If you have a postgraduate degree, first should be the highest degree, postgraduate. Then it should be your normal degree, whatever degree, bachelor degree, whatever bachelor or diploma or whatever degrees you have, bachelor degree. Below bachelor, there should be diploma, or else for people in India, it's your 10+2, which is your 12th standard college, your junior college. I'll only take 10 minutes, probably will wind up, but junior college, and then it should be 10th. Now the question comes, do we need to mention all this? Do we need to mention all this? This is not a degree, 12 school certification. Or maybe I'll keep it to 10 school. See, for the people who have postgraduate degree, mention this, bachelor degree, and 12th or diploma. Only 3 degrees should be mentioned in this LinkedIn profile, not more than 3. Not more than 3, only 3 degrees. If you have postgraduate, bachelor, either diploma or 12th. If you doesn't have postgraduate degree, mention your bachelor's, mention diploma or 12th and 10th. Not all 4 degrees or all 5 degrees at a time. This is not recommended. And how do you mention this education? How do you mention this education? See, while mentioning education, while mentioning postgraduate degree, you need to mention college name. If your college name is not available, Anything, if your college name is not available, go with university name. University is preferred as compared to college, but if at all your college is good enough, it's a famous college, it's a renowned college, you can mention your college name or else go with university. Same goes with bachelor degree also. If your college is renowned college, go with college name. If not, if you doesn't think your college is not that renowned, or maybe you doesn't want to mention your college name, go with your university name. And here also, once you mention from which year to which year you have taken that degree. Postgraduate maximum it would be of 2 years. Bachelor degree for engineering it's 4 years. For any other the BBA related roles, BCA might be your BScs, that all can be of 3 years. Mention start date and end date precisely. Date doesn't mean you should mention months. You can mention years also. That should be fine. For diploma, 10th, 12th. Now the question comes for 12th, what should I mention? If you have passed your 12th standard in 2014, you can always mention 2013 to 2014. That should be okay. Because in 1 year only you have passed the 12th degree. For 10th also you have passed in 2012. 10 should be -2. You have passed in 2012. You can mention 2011 as start date and 2012 as end date. Do not mention your schooling start date. So mention the dates very precisely. In which year you have passed, that plays an important role. This is starting date, you can skip anyways. If you doesn't like, you can skip it. But your passing year plays an important role. If a recruiter or a person who is looking at your profile, if he finds a gap between your education also, that can be clearly visible. So mention, see, if there is a gap, leave it. Do not do some fake years or mention some fake years of passing degree. Mention the degrees very precisely which year you have passed. If there is a gap, yes, there is a gap. Mention that. Or if you do not mention also, mention the correct passing years. That should be okay. Now, education is done. How this education will look alike, I'll give you an idea. Here. Starting year, ending year. Starting year, ending year. Starting year, ending year. Month, dates not recommended. For education, if you mention year also, that should be fine. And your degree. See, this person might have felt that college is not that renowned college. He has directly mentioned university. That should be fine. But prior to that, San Diego, some college he has mentioned. So, and how do you mention? Latest degree should be at the highest level. This is wrongly mentioned, it seems. Randomly, some information is coming. Maybe I'll take some other example. Don't see anything visible here. And come on, nothing is there related to education. But anyways, if this is how it looks, this should not be the correct way. Ideally, what correct way is? Your postgraduate degree should come here. PG. Either PG or else your graduate degree, then your diploma or 12th schooling or junior college, and then your 10th. So 10th should be at the lowest level. Your SSC, your schooling degree, your schooling certification should be at the lowest level, and latest should be at the highest level. Now, once the education is done, the 11th point is there is a concept called as key skills. You need to mention what skills you have. Even though you have mentioned skills in your about summary, even though you have mentioned skills in your experience and role, but there is a separate component called as skills, your key skills. I'll go down, I'll take an example. LinkedIn skills description example. This is how skills are mentioned. Let me come down. See, usually this is how the skills are mentioned. Maybe I'll take an example of LinkedIn only. Skills and endorsements. This is how skills are mentioned. See, I have seen people who are adding 20, 20, 30, 30 different skills. This window you'll get 20, 30 different skills. See, this is not recommended. How do you mention skill is skill which you are expertise in, that expertise skill should be at the topmost level. Now, while mentioning skills, how it goes is mention the skills which you know only basics at the very first moment, because skills will go changing. In key skills, it will take n number of options. It will take 20, 30, 40 also. But there are three top skills. It will ask you what are your top three skills. In top three skills, you should mention expertise you are. For me as a data analyst, SQL is must. I have a very good understanding of Power BI, and then I have a good exposure to Azure Cloud. I'll mention these three as the topmost skills. Now, in other skills, other mentioning, in other mentioning, you can mention other. Now, how do you mention how many skills are required here? Five. Five other skills are more than enough. I've seen people adding 20, 30. That is not useful. That is not at all useful. So always add five skills in the other, three skills in topmost. 8 skills are more than enough for a people with 4 years or less than 4 years, or maybe for people joining this industry. If you mention your top 3 skills and only mention 2 skills in your others mentioning, that should be fine. Other mentioning skills, only 2 you mention, okay, that should be also fine. That won't be any problem. And skills should be very precise. And once you mention a skill, see, there is this option called as give assessment. LinkedIn skills assessment examples. There is an assessment conducted by LinkedIn. We don't see if there is. Anyways, I guess there isn't. Once you mention skill, after 1 or 2 weeks, or maybe after 1 or 2 months, LinkedIn will send a notification. Why don't you assess yourself? Assess yourself with top 3 skills. You have mentioned top 3 skills. For these top 3 skills, there would be an assignment conducted by LinkedIn. 20 questions will come, maximum of 20 questions. If you clear that assignment with 60% of marks, 12 or more than questions, then you will get a badge from LinkedIn. And this badge is valid for lifetime. This badge is valid for lifetime. This is further after 1 month or 2 months. If you ever get a notification for this assess yourself top 3 skills, assess your top 3 skills. Once you get a badge would be added for that skill. Expertise in SQL, assessed by LinkedIn. Expertise in Power BI. That will have a huge impact on your profile. That will have a huge impact. Now coming down to the 12 point, this is your certifications and honors. It is not compulsion. But anyways, if you have worked for an organization where you have got certifications, any certificate, I'm not saying only valid certifications or only Microsoft certifications. No, that is not the case. This is not compulsion, but if you want to add any certifications, you are free to add. Free to add any certifications and honors or any awards you have got, mention that. Now, with all this 12 points, your LinkedIn profile is ready. Now the picture comes, how to make connections. How to make connections. There is a rule here. I'll help you with this rule. What that rule is, start with 100, then reach out to 500, then reach out to 1000. Now for this target also, there is some time frame. There is some time frame. Now, what is the time frame? 1 month, 4 months, 8 months. This is time frame. May not be 8, but you can keep it to 6 as well. 100, 500, 1000, this is connections. If you have 1000 connections, your LinkedIn profile would be viewed at least 2 or 3 times a day. Some or other person will come and view your profile, maybe for some requirement, maybe for just to view whether you're working for that organization, or maybe you're taking interview, or maybe you're giving interview. There are many ways. So rule is 100 connections. If you have 500 connections and 1000 connections, within 1 month, make 100 connections target. Within 4 months, make 500 connections. This is also a target. Within 6 months, you make 1000 connections. This is also a target. But in 6 months, I don't feel 1000 connection is possible. You can extend it to 8 months, or even you can extend it to 12 months. That should be fine. But if you make 500 connections, some or other day, you will also get requests. Some or other person will send a request to you, accept my connection. Now, this is all about your LinkedIn. Once your profile is good enough, start with 20 connections in 1 week. First week, you should make at least 20 connections. And how do you make a connection? First 20 connections should be always sent to known people. The people you know. Maybe your brother, maybe your cousins. Yes, it's okay. Your family members, it's okay. Because our aspect is to make first 20 connections within a week. Once that is good, target 100 connections with 1 month. If not 100, maybe around 80, anything more than 80, minus 20, it's okay. Within 4 or 5 months, you should make at least 500 connections. So that is how you should start your LinkedIn journey. Once you create your profile, see, do not randomly open this LinkedIn if you are not having all these 12 points correctly mentioned and you're trying to send a request to the person. If your LinkedIn profile is not correctly updated and you're sending a request to some other LinkedIn person, LinkedIn profile, he will never accept it. First thing what LinkedIn members see is he will always go through each and every profile he has got a request from. If all this 11, 12 points which are important you have mentioned correctly, only then he will accept that. Okay, your known profiles will accept anyways. But if you're sending, how many known profiles you'll get? 100, 200, 500, anything more than 500, it should be, your profile should be more understandable. Every point should be clearly mentioned. So that's how important LinkedIn points or LinkedIn profile creation is. Mention all these points very precisely. Once that is good, only then try sending connections. First 20 connections with your known people, any family member, cousins, anything, okay, it's fine. But after you make 20 connections, start sending. Now, how do you make connections with HRs, right? I'll only take 5 minutes more. HR connections, how do you make it? There are posts in LinkedIn, right? There are posts in LinkedIn. And some people post in LinkedIn that we have a job. They'll ask you to mention interested. You might have heard this word, or many people might have said, never ever write interested. Never comment on any post like interested. If a certain HR has posted that there is an opening, you can add a comment. Can you please share your email? Or can you please accept my connection request? In LinkedIn, there are two options. One is connect. It's like your Facebook, sending a friend request. And one is follow. In Facebook also, we have a follow. If you send a connection request, automatically you will follow that person. If you follow that person, that doesn't mean you are sending a connection request. You are only following his posts. So follow and connect is interdependent. If you are sending a request connection, it means you are following. If you're only following, it doesn't mean you are sending a connection request. Right? So always send a request rather than follow. Follow is used for people who are CEOs, CFOs, founders, maybe Indian government officials, high level employees. They will never accept a request. Their profile is open. So what they do is they'll have a follow option. Connection request is still there, but probably they'll never accept connection request from any random people. So always make sure you are sending a connection request first. it will automatically send a follow option. For people like CEO, CFOs, it is only follow option. Now, if any HR or any individual is posting something and is asking you to mention comment interested, do not ever comment interested. These are all fake posts. They'll only gain some market presence and they'll ask you money in background. They'll DM you that we have a course like this. You need to pay certain money, which is not recommended. If you want to send, assuming that you want to work, maybe you are searching a company called as TCS. You want to enter TCS, what all roles are available in TCS. If you mention TCS, it will open the TCS LinkedIn page, right? It will open the TCS LinkedIn page. This is your TCS LinkedIn page. In TCS LinkedIn page, once you log into your LinkedIn, you will get multiple options here. Overview, jobs, how many employees are there. You have to log in. Only when you log in, you will get jobs, you will get people. People option is also available here. You can send a request. How to send request is, after 500 connections, try making connection with most HRs, mostly HRs. And if you're mostly HR connections after 1 month of account creation. How do you verify this HRs are there? You will get an option. If you click on people's option on this TCS page, LinkedIn TCS page, randomly scroll down, you will get multiple options there like this. Now, if I click on any individual name, I'm not sure if I can click. Maybe I'll click on this person name. This is asking me a security check. This will open that person. Say I'm not logged in. That is the reason. If you get a certain person name or HR name, if you search only one HR name also, multiple HR names are also viewed towards right. Suggestions. You can view that suggestion. See, this is how a profile should look alike. Now, this person is might be a very senior person, so he has mentioned each and every point in about 13 years of experience. His experience is also mentioned. See, if I scroll down, all his experience is mentioned. His education is mentioned. His licenses and certifications, honors, awards, everything is mentioned. So if a person with this LinkedIn profile has sent a connection request, no one will ever keep it aside. We will always accept that request. So this is how a profile should look. Okay, this person has 13 years of experience. He has everything. He knows everything. That shouldn't be the case. Nowadays, person with 1 year of experience also, I've seen people who have a very neat and could say a very different LinkedIn account. They have everything mentioned. Their account is very active. Every point is clearly mentioned. I've seen people with 1 year of experience also. So make sure your LinkedIn account is must. All that 11, 12 points are clearly mentioned. Make these targets. 1 month, 100 connections. Start with 21st known connections. 5 or 6 months maximum, you can take up to 500. And anything around 1000, you can take up around 1 year. How many connections you make, the number of posts will go on increasing. Do not ever mention interested. Interested comment is not required. This is simply, this will have a negative impact. So always try to connect with HRs first, around 50, 60 connections, and then you can connect with some known people. If you're working as a data analyst, you can always send a request to multiple data analysts with different organizations. Most of them will accept. Even with if you have 1 year experience and you're sending a request to 10, 12 years of experience of guy, he will accept it. But if your profile is all correctly mentioned. Now, depending on your connection, there is a very high chance of getting job open positions or job related vacancies which are clearly visible on LinkedIn. Nowadays, everything is going on in this LinkedIn social platform only related to your technical job, related to your anything related to your job field. Now, Any questions you have, if you have noted down your questions, please raise your hand. I'll try to answer each and every question. Mahalakshmi, go ahead.
Yeah, it is. If someone is asking to share phone number to contact for the openings, can we share? Like whether it's
Do not share publicly.
how to find?
Okay,
No,
if there is
if
a
they are
post,
pinging and asking.
yeah, if they are DMing you, if they are personally messaging you, check their profile, whether you find that profile as a valid profile or not. There could be some bot profiles also, there could be some fake profiles. If you ever feel that person will never ask you contact number directly, he'll ask you profile, your resume. So you can share your resume. It's okay. But if you feel that account is not active, or maybe that HR hasn't updated his details precisely, always go through how many activities he has seen. So if you visit any profile, this profile, here there is an option called as, I don't see there's that option. You will get an option called as how many posts he has liked, his activity. There is an option called as activity here. This is profile viewing. But if I log in and if I check that, there you will get an option called as view posts, view comments. Always check his comments, whether that account is active. Is active since last 1 month, 2 months, it's okay. But that there are HRs who are fake HRs. They only create accounts. They'll never like anything. They'll only post some fake posts. They'll ask you your resumes. So that will be your security breach. You're sharing your mobile number. You're sharing your email ID. Always make sure, because I cannot explain who among the HR is correct, who among the HR is wrong. It is up to us how you are going back and checking that profile. Never share mobile numbers if you ever feel that LinkedIn profile is not up to mark. Never share it. Leave it aside. It will be safer side for you also, and may not be your details are not publicly went away.
Okay. And one more thing, Ritesh. I have experience in production support. If I'm looking for data analyst, what should I mention in job title?
You have a LinkedIn account?
Yeah, yes, Ritesh.
LinkedIn account, and that too with a very good connections or user base.
Corrections. I have around 275 or something.
Okay. Now the thing is, let me precisely ask, maybe I'll ask you a few more questions. When have you started your career?
2021. Previously, I was working as a lecturer.
Oh, okay.
I
Anyways,
started my IPA. Yeah.
okay. Lecturer from which year?
2012
Oh,
till
way back,
2017.
2017. And you were working for you had a valid PF account, right? Here?
Yeah.
Very good. Now the question is, you can mention your lecturer experience also as a technical experience. That won't be a problem. But still, anyways, if you want to keep lecturer, keep it lecturer only. Now, from 2017 to 2021, there was a gap, right?
Yes.
Maybe you have done any projects in between 2017 and 21, any projects or maybe some internship like that?
No, Ritesh, I had a personal break, so.
Okay, no problem. Now, from 2021, you are working as a production support. No problem. You
Yeah.
can mention this 2021 to current, whatever 24. You can mention it as data analyst experience. The thing is, here, if you are mentioning data analyst, the connections which you have, the known people, the surrounding known people, they only know that you're working as a production support. So what I'll do, what I recommend is never send request to that specific set of group. Try to send request to some other people. So that will anyways, no company will come back and ask you whether you're working as a production support. If you are able enough to crack, capable enough to crack the interview of data analyst, no company will have a question mark, even if you're working as a technical support, even if you're working as a pure support engineer also. Production support is technical support. You will ever come across technical supports. So there won't be any problem. You can mention support data analyst, even that is okay. That can be support data analyst. That's also okay. Any question?
Thanks, Ritesh. Yeah, that's all.
Hi Ritesh. I have a one question. I mentioned um, 14 year of experience, and I have that also. But now problem with me, like if I mentioned it a data analyst from 14 year, so the level of interview is not so much high as per my knowledge.
Okay. So since last 14 years, you are working as what role, man?
I also have 4 year of professor experience, and as a lecturer, and after that 8 year of experience in banking domain.
Banking domain means it's a kind of financial domain, all that banking stuff, right?
Yes.
So the thing is, if you want to enter, and you are taking a course from KSR already, any course, or maybe you want to jump as a data analyst.
I took I'm preparing for from last year for data analyst.
Oh, okay, cool. Now the thing is, see, all your banking experience can be shown as a Power BI, but the thing, Power BI was introduced in
2014.
This market presence came in 2018 or maybe 2017. Okay. But you can mention from 2018, even though as a part of banking domain, I was working prior to 2018. When did you start your banking experience, a banking career, man?
2014.
Okay, from 2014 to 2018 or even 2019. You can mention that I worked for this banking domain as a business analyst, right? You can mention it as a business analyst. Business analyst means you have used Excel, you have used some SQL there, or you have used your banking tools, any banking tools. Right now, this is done starting from 2019. You can clearly mention, you can, mention your experiences. I've started using Power BI because bank domain also felt that using Power BI will help improve their business. So in 2019, from starting 2019, you can mention SQL, Power BI. Now 2019 to 24 is 5 years of experience. Prior to that, you can mention Excel and any banking tool. If you do not want to mention SQL also, that should be fine. But how do you want to, how do you want to enter this field? That plays an important role. You want to showcase your all five, starting from 19 to 24, all five as technical, or else even prior to that also technical. From 2019 to 24, if you show, your interview level would not be that high for the people with 10 year of experience or 11 year of experience. Okay, if you're showcasing 14 to 19, also some technical experience like SQL, Excel, and banking tools. And then from 19 to 2024, you're showcasing it as Power BI and SQL. The level of interview would be slightly difficult. Difficult means, as per your experience, the level of interview would be different. I'm not sure how good you are in SQL. I'm not sure how good you are in Power BI. But if you have an end-to-end basic knowledge of complete Power BI, basic means all the concepts of Power BI are clear enough. And whatever SQL concepts are enough for a data analyst. If you have taken a course, KSR would have completed, or they have given you end-to-end idea about SQL, which is required for data analyst. If you know that stuff, even for a 10 year of experience, the interview would not be that difficult. So it is up to you. How are you showcasing? My suggestion is showcase from 2019, not prior to that. Prior to that, you can showcase I was working as a business analyst, understand the banking tools, understand some Excel related aspects. From 2019, you can showcase company or banking moved out from Power BI to SQL, from Excel to data sources like any other data sources like your banking data sources to SQL, and then they have moved from Excel to Power BI. You can showcase this way. The level of interview would be not that difficult.
Okay, thank you.
No. Yeah, hi Jitesh. Yeah,
Go ahead.
this is Ajit here. Actually, I have 13 to 14 plus years of experience in mainframe technology. So currently, I'm performing as a technical lead, as a project lead in current organization. So I want to change my technology. Means I just joined KSR as a data engineering course, just recently started. So
Okay.
if I'll do after 4.5 months, it's around 5 months, we can say that. So then I want to show as a experience as a 4 to 5 years of experience in my. So if I'll update my LinkedIn, will it be any impact or something?
No.
Because currently it is just I mentioned as a technical lead.
No, nothing. There won't be any
Nothing.
problem. And you have 13 years of all legal technical experience. It's all technical.
Correct.
So
Yes.
you know how to update. Probably you have double the experience of me, so that won't be any problem. You can showcase your data engineering starting from 2020. You want to show 4 years, no? Right?
Yes. And
So you
already
can
I
showcase.
mentioned, already I mentioned in my LinkedIn profile as Azure Cloud and data engineer, and also I have done some of the certifications. But I want to know as a practical way. Just I am getting good exposure from KSR. So
That won't be any negative impact.
okay,
No
sure.
company, even your current company, will never come and ask you whether you have worked as a mainframe or whether you worked as a data engineer.
Correct.
You are in technical field, that means you are in technical field. Any role you are part of.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I have few questions in the chat. I have completed BE Mechanical. At that time, I had worked for 1 year in quality control. So, Madhavan, after 2015, have you ever worked in any other field apart from the controller engineer experience or any other experience you have? Or maybe you want to enter this field very as a fresher only?
Hi, Ritesh. Actually, I had prepared for UPSC examinations till now. Currently, I'm looking for a data analyst role, so that it is very difficult to enter a data analyst.
See, for any role, I'm not taking example of data analyst only. If you want to enter this field as a fresher, because you don't have any prior experience, if you would have any non-technical experience also, we could have showcased it as technical. But as of now, there isn't any experience. You would be entering a field as a fresher, kind of fresher. Maybe your experience, I mean, maybe your degree pass out year is 2015 anyways. You can mention that 1 year of mechanical experience. That won't be a problem. Even though you don't have a PF account, you can mention it. But if you are entering this field, your resume should be prepared in such a way that you should showcase some projects. You have created so and so Power BI reports. You publish that reports publicly. Somewhere you have published it. Showcase that reports. Post it in LinkedIn that I have worked in so and so report. You will get some likes there. You will get some connection requests or recommendations there. Now, if you work on recommendations, if you connect with multiple people, as and when bond increases, you will definitely get exposure to this data analyst openings. See, you are entering this field as a new role or a fresher role. Not with respect to data analyst, any role you take, even you want to enter as a tester also. Nowadays, people are moving mostly to testing roles because it is very easy to get a job. No, that is not the case. For testing also, there is a lot to do. So any role you take any role, if you're entering as a fresher, it will take some time. I'm not saying it will take more time. You should have good connections on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is mother of all your connections or all your what you say, this technical aspects. If you have a good LinkedIn account with 300, 400 connections also, now in current scenario with a fresher use case or fresher condition, I'm not sure you have an account. You have an account or you don't have?
Yeah, I have an account.
Connections? Number of connections?
Connections, it is very less, only 30 or 40. Last 2 months only I have opened the account.
Anyway, see, in 1 month you can make 100 connections. So in 2 months you could have made 200. So I would recommend, see, that is what I'm trying to say. Make more connections, whatever work you are doing. As a fresher, every field is difficult to enter.
Okay.
You take an example of UPSC only. You are an UPSC aspirant. You know how UPSC aspirants focus on their exams. Take it with that same dedication once you get a job. Once you get a job, anyways, if you want a switch after 1 year, it is easy then. After 1 year for switch, it is easy. But to enter that field, yeah, you will face some hurdles. That is common.
Yeah.
And even I face that my end.
Yes.
So that is common. You can mention that 2015 experience, 1 year experience as mechanical. Now you can mention as a freelancer, you are doing some freelancing, you have created so and so reports. Randomly take any data set, create reports, and publish it in LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay.
That will have a positive impact. Your connections will increase. Then you will get some open position pings also, that we have an open position. Would you like to join us? So somewhere you will get requests, somewhere you will get some options. There, if you have a good connection base, automatically it will play a role.
Okay, Ritesh.
And
Yeah,
maybe
is it possible? Can I enter as a fresher? But I had completed nearby institute. I know the basics of SQL and Power BI. But I have followed the KSR Datavizon channel for more than 4 months. So that I'm asking you, any experience or fresher is possible? So that I'm asking.
the thing is, if you want to enter the role, if you enter the data analyst role, you have exposure to SQL or Power BI, you're only basics.
Yes.
You have only basics or any, I mean, end to end.
Yeah, basics. I know basics, but currently I'm doing some projects. So
Okay. Now, if you're doing projects, post that projects. You can, whatever tools are you're using in that projects, you can post it. That should be fine.
okay, Ritesh. But you mentioned before testing is very easy to get a job. Can I move to testing related
That
job?
is different field, sir. That is different field. People are feeling that testing is easier to get into. No, that is not the case. If you, one thing I'll explain. In 2021, when that COVID happened, 21 was the most, you could say, golden year for any individual to enter a job. They have showcased their previous fake experiences without any PF account, and they have entered this field. One example I take, there were around 300 individuals who have entered the organization called as Cognizant with previous fake experiences as a tester. They have learned some testing course. This is not only with respect to testing, any course. If you want to showcase your previous experience without any PF account as a fake experience, that will be a negative impact. At that time in 21, Cognizant was in need of employees. They have hired them. They were able to clear the interviews. For the people out of 300, what they found is 220 candidates were such candidates. They didn't had any previous experience. All that they have done is they have learned some course. They have put down some fake experience. Only 80 candidates had a previous experience, but that too, that previous experience was technical or non-technical. Cognizant cannot rectify. What they say is they have valid PF account. So they have kept that 80 individuals as if they're an employee, continued with them. 220 employees were fired after 1 year. There are companies which fire after 1 year also if they think your previous experience is not valid. So make sure you are writing your experience. If you were working for non-tech role, but you had a PF account, it's okay. You can mention that experience.
Okay.
But if you don't have any prior experience and you take that, see, you can clear interview with any course, but once you enter that field, whether you are correctly working or not, that plays an important role. So testing, any role, I'm not talking about testing. If you mention data analyst also, you crack an interview. But if you showcase your previous experience as fake experience, there is a very high chance of, again, company will come back. They'll check your credit, they'll check your previous history. If they feel your role is not required, they'll terminate. So make sure you have a valid PF account, irrespective of whatever role you're working.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Hi, Ritesh.
Divya, go ahead.
Yeah, Ritesh, the day before yesterday, one interviewer asked me as a part of question, how many years of experience do you have in SQL? She asked like that. I said I don't have any years of experience, but I worked on that as part of my project. Like that, I said, isn't it necessary to have particular years of experience on SQL or Excel like that to mention to be like that?
So you have any prior experience, ma'am?
Yes, 6+ years of experience.
Okay. Now the thing is, if you want to enter this Power BI field, person, I would always recommend to learn SQL and Power BI or Power BI and SQL.
Okay.
Never only learn Power BI because it will be very difficult to survive in this field. Only Power BI is very difficult. Power BI with SQL is safest field. Now, you have mentioned all your six years as a technical experience. How was the case to that interviewer?
3+ years of experience as Power BI developer.
Now you can also mention 3+ years of SQL.
Okay.
Whatever Power BI you are mentioning, mention that same as SQL. I have seen few people who knows more in Power BI, less in SQL. That should be fine, but you should have a basics cleared about SQL. Your basics should be very clear about SQL.
Okay. So how many years I may say
If
about
you have showcased Power BI, then you can say that, see, Power BI end to end or hand in hand goes with SQL. So there were SQL sources, SQL tables. So since last years, as and when I'm using Power BI, if there is a SQL source, I have to write a query and then get that data. So 3 years of experience in SQL.
Okay. Yes, Ritesh.
Any other question?
Hi, Pritesh. Good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead. Yeah, Sharvi,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. Actually, I'm working in a Capgemini right now from 2.5, 2.8 years. And currently I'm joining a data engineer course. In previous company, I work as a actually most of the times it was the on the bench, and the time which I have worked in a project is a non-tech. Like I worked in a data patching activity, which is based on the SQL queries and all that. And some of times it's I work in a Excel and all that. But the training which they provide me in the Java, so they actually, what should I mention in my resume, in my LinkedIn profile then?
Got you.
Actually,
So if you are
I
entering this field,
yeah,
you are entering as a data engineer. You want to switch a job as a data engineer, right?
yeah,
Data engineering means you are going through Santosh course.
yeah, engineer with Azure.
Okay, cool. So in that data engineering course, you can focus all your 2 years experience into data engineering. See, always data engineering starts with SQL first. So your
Okay.
SQL foundation should be very strong.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you can mention that I've started my journey with Capgemini. For almost 6 months, I was a part of a team which only worked on SQL queries. Then you can mention after 6 months, I've started utilizing Python because data engineer requires Python. Data engineer
Mm-hmm.
requires all your Azure concepts like Synapse, Databricks, your ADLS, your storage accounts, all that comes into picture, right?
Okay.
So you can mention that I've started with 6 months of SQL, then I've moved out to Python. I've also learned Python. And then you can mention since last 1 year, I'm also using Synapse. I'm also using Databricks. This is the feasible, or this is the most feasible condition for me. And you can
Okay.
showcase all your 2 years experience as a data engineer. See, SQL, only person who knows SQL also can work as a data engineer.
Okay.
So
And one
SQL
thing
is must,
actually,
SQL is
uh-huh.
highest.
Okay. And one thing I actually posted my certification in a Java, which company which I wrote the certificate in a company regarding to Java and DevOps. So I posted it this all in the LinkedIn. Should I remove this?
You, prior to your engineering or prior to your job, you have posted that Java certification?
Actually, I cleared this exam, so just posted like the Java
When did
entry
you
level.
clear? When did you clear? In organization or prior to your organization? Prior
No, no,
joining a
in
company?
after joining my organization providers like they have the Ocean platform.
Okay, Java certification is from that Ocean platform, right?
Yeah. So should I remove
Now
this or keep it on?
it is up to you. You can keep it. There won't be any question because They see the company might have given you a training for 1 month on Java. That could be the reason you have given that certification. You can
Okay.
keep it. I'm not saying I do not, I'm not saying remove it. Anyways, if you have done any certification in data engineering, once you have a good certification in data engineering, maybe from Udemy, maybe from any other platform, once you're posting that certification, remove that Java.
Okay.
For now, you can keep it.
Okay. Thank you.
Ritesh, Ajit here. I have one quick question. Um, I'm going to show like as a 4 years of experience in data engineering, and but currently I'm doing some certifications. If I'll post it, okay, might be they will ask me question, right? You have been in this technology since last 4 years, and you how come you doing this certification now? Something.
So, very could be a valid question, and it's a valid question.
Yeah.
The thing is, not everyone will expect you to have a certificate on the very first year.
Okay.
Maybe you felt that working with the organization, my previous organization never forced me to have a certification. I directly switched my mainframe career in 19. I've started working as a data engineer. Now the question is, I want to switch my career. That is the reason I've given this certification. Once I have a valid certification, I can showcase that to the other company that I have a valid experience in this. You can explain it this way. In the
Okay.
current organization, they never forced me to have a certification. But in order to get a good job outside, a better switch, there they might ask you. So that is the reason I've done certification now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Hi Ritesh. Currently, I'm having more than 1500 connections in LinkedIn, and most of them are HR. So, will it impact if I change my profile to data analyst now? It is for production support currently.
No, no one will ask you. No one will ever come and ask you. You have how many years of experience, you said?
3 years.
3 years. You can, and you are working as what? Production support last 3 years.
Yes.
There won't be any problem. You can directly change. You have a valid PF account, you have valid work experience, no problem. You can directly switch. But see, if you are changing your LinkedIn, that means you are having a good exposure on whatever skills you are mentioning. So first think whether you have a good exposure or not, and then change your LinkedIn. Start anyways. 1500 connection is good, a very good connection. So there won't be any problem. No one will question.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Or else, worst case, what I'll do, what I'll explain. You can mention first 6 months of production support as Power BI support, not production support. You can mention I've started my career as Power BI support, probably Power BI admin related roles or business data analyst support related roles. And then I switched my career within that project. I switched to data analyst, developer, data analyst development or data analyst, Power BI development, BI developer role. That's how you can switch your LinkedIn.
Okay.
Any other questions again?
Hi, Ritesh. Hello.
Good.
Yeah, actually, I have a 6+ years experience as non-voice. In previous company, I have 2 years, and this current company, I have 4+ years experience. So, can I showcase this 4+ years experience into Power BI?
Yep,
And
you
have a
can.
valid PF as well.
You can always. You can always showcase.
Would the
See,
interview
if you have
request be tough if I have
no,
exposed like 4+years?
no, there won't be any problem. You can always showcase. See, if you ever feel that directly switching from non-tech to tech or maybe some other role to this data analyst, if you ever feel that maybe you have a doubt, some human tendency we have always have a doubt that whether HR will ask this, whether interview will ask this, you have to explain it systematically that I was working for so and so non-tech role or maybe a completely different tech role. Now I got an opportunity when this Power BI started gaining market presence. I got few projects in Power BI, which was more a kind of support or admin related projects. Reports were already developed. If something breaks, it used to come to us. We have to patch up that Power BI reports with some updates, with some data source updates, or maybe some visualization changes. Then I felt pretty good enough that I have a good exposure in Power BI. So I completely switched my role to this Power BI development, where I've developed end-to-end reports starting from cleaning of data, analysis of data, understanding data, creating visuals, and then sharing it with the stakeholders. So this is how you can explain. Directly, if you want to switch, yes, it's a human tendency. We'll always have a question. And if you directly mention that I was working as a Java developer and I'm currently switched to data analyst, you can always mention that I was working as a Java, but I got an opportunity starting from 2018 or 19. Also, whatever year you have to mention, that Power BI was gaining market presence. So when my previous project got completed or got kind of end, I kind of switched to this domain where I felt Power BI as an interesting thing. I had a good exposure of SQL. So starting, I was a Power BI support role. I got kind of temporary work, and then I've moved out to development role. So that is how the flow you can explain it.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, there are no questions. We're good on time, or almost 2.5 hours. My bad. Yep. There would be many other sessions which would be conducted by KSR. For the people who have joined KSR with any other batches, may not be my batch, for any other batch, these sessions are common. There would be multiple sessions conducted. There would be some training and placement sessions also, which is open for everyone, not only for people who have enrolled to KSR, which is open for everyone. Placement sessions are going on. Mahesh, the KSR head person, will take all the sessions. Anyways, apart from LinkedIn, we have resume preparation, we have some other agile methodology sessions. So as and when required, we will be going to take the sessions. Today it was LinkedIn. Maybe some other weeks after, we would have some resume preparation session, also some project management sessions also. So keep a watch on this KSR channel, keep a watch on this. For the people who anyways were part of KSR, that would be shared with you. But for people outside of KSR also, you can keep a watch. If you anyways you want to enroll for this KSR courses, always connect with the KSR team. They'll definitely help you. Whatever question you have, mention your question, ask them. They will suggest you, they will recommend you. Depending on that, it's your choice. You want to enroll, you don't want to enroll, it's your choice. That's a separate part. Yep. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, Ritesh.
Yep,
Sorry to
go ahead.
interrupt you. I have a little question here. So
Mhm.
I'm working currently in Accenture, and if I showcase 2 years of experience in Power BI developer as a Power BI developer, so how much package I can expect?
How many total years of experience you have, ma'am?
2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And you want to show all the 2 years as Power BI, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Now, see, if you are good enough in Power BI and SQL, for 2 years into 3, whatever package you have, whatever experience you have into 3, minimum of 6.5 or 7, minimum, right? 2 into 3, 6. Minimum of 6 or 6.5 you can expect. But if you have a good exposure in Azure also, you know Azure services good enough. I guess you are part of my batch, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you know Azure services good enough, you can expect more than 8 as well. This is market tendency. As and when the experience increases, for a 10 years guy, you can expect 30 also, but not every time 30 you will get. Probably you will end up getting 25 to 30, that bracket. 2.5 to 3. For less than 5 years of experience into 3, you can expect. But as I've said, you should be very good in SQL and Power BI. If you know Azure Cloud, it's an added advantage. You can expect even more than 3 also, into 3 of your experience.
Okay.
Ritesh, sorry, at the last time asking one question. Actually, my wife, she is having a 2 years of experience, but that was a very small company. She's not she's not carrying any PF account or something. After that, she were having a gap because of child.
Mhm.
So now she wants to start her career. So
Okay.
what I can show here means she can join any one of the course and then she can show her experience, previous 2 years of experience, because she is not having any PF account, but she is having all experience document.
She can. She worked for a company. It was a valid company.
Yeah.
In that case, what they do is that I mean, if the further future company which is going to hire, they'll go back and always see that company. They'll check whether that company is present. They have a website. Maybe they have a website or they have a
Correct.
LinkedIn page for them.
Yes, sir, they have website. Yeah.
Oh, then well and good. There won't be any problem. That company didn't had PF, but she primarily worked there. She had an exposure. If she can crack that interview, there won't be any problem. Even if she
Okay.
doesn't have a PF account, it is acceptable. It is acceptable because she has worked for that organization.
Yes, yes. Okay. So, but currently she's doing some Salesforce and she has done a lot of certification. So, can I ask her to join as a data engineering or Power BI?
Yeah, yeah. Salesforce, what she has done? CRM, Salesforce, or
CRM, yeah, CRM and then something one more tech.
Yeah, got you. Salesforce Dynamics. There are multiple. Yeah, ERP related aspects are also there. See, if you are looking out for data engineer, you can also ask her to move on to data engineer. But I feel that no, Salesforce is also good enough. So if she wants to move out as a CRM Salesforce, even that field is also there are openings there also.
Okay. For us, do we have any course or something in our KSR Salesforce related? I haven't seen any.
Salesforce we don't have. Snowflake we have.
Snowflake, yeah, Snowflake.
Snowflake with AWS we have. It's a AWS means it's a replacement of Azure there, and Snowflake is your replacement of your ADF tools and all that. So Snowflake and AWS we have. Krishna is the one who is taking this.
Okay.
That's also a data engineer course, but that is not a Microsoft stack. That is different. As I've said, Snowflake and AWS is a different stack.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a course. Salesforce, even Salesforce is also good.
Okay, okay. So better way she can continue in Salesforce.
Yeah, she can.
Okay.
Salesforce, CRM, there are many openings.
Sure, sure. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Ritesh, I have a very generic question. Sometimes after joining the organization, we tend to leave maybe because of different reason, and maybe due to work culture or project hectics. Sometimes we tend to leave. But in such cases, how can we claim that experience? Maybe it means we have we spent there almost 2 months there. That meanwhile the PF account was created. How can we keep that in resume? Can we skip that one?
No. See, one thing. I'll take in industry, there is only one company which does everything end to end. That is TCS. What that TCS does is, if you ever absconded a company also, in resume, you can skip it. But while providing documents after your interview, you have cleared your interview. After your interview, you're providing documents for background verification. Never ever skip any company there. Even if you have absconded, mention that 1 month also. That will, if you do not mention it, it will be negative. And your offer, even though they have rolled out offer, they will revoke it. Thing is, you have absconded it, mention that there were some issues when I've joined with that company, which I felt it is not right for me. So I kind of left that company. You can create your own experience letter. That is different stuff. But make sure that company has closed your PF account. They have opened on starting date. They also need to mention ending date that you have left organization and so date, or you have absconded that organization. They'll never mention as abscond. They'll only mention DOJ and DOE, date of joining, date of ending. Make sure your date of ending is mentioned for that PF account, for that specific PF or the company which you have joined.
But once we left that organization, right, we don't know whether they have closed the PF account or not, right?
Check. There is a PF portal, no? PF passbook portal is there, PF account portal is there. Check their service history.
Okay.
If it isn't mentioned, it isn't mentioned. Usually they mention. If it isn't mentioned, mail them that could you close this. Nowadays, government has made a rule. You yourself can close it. That I have left this organization and so date. Mention correct date. do not mention dates. If you ever come across same day, different two companies you are working, that means assuming that today is 29th of June, I am currently leaving an organization called as TCS. I already hold an offer from Accenture and I'm joining today. TCS, I'm leaving tomorrow, but I'm joining Accenture today. That shouldn't be the case. There should be a gap. If you're leaving TCS today, that means you need to join Accenture tomorrow. On the same day, two companies' exposure should not be there. That is, it's a break. You're breaking law in India. In India, that is not the case.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we're good enough. Thank you, everyone. There are many sessions going on. Keep a watch on it. Keep an eye on it. There would be sessions. You would be shared details. Yep. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend.